Against Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP reacts sharply.
के तौर पर जो समाज के हक अधिकार की लड़ाई को जिस मजबूती से रोड पे लड़ना चाहिए, उसमें मंत्री के तौर पे कहीं ना कहीं बंदिश होती है। तो आज मैं अपने आप को मुक्त महसूस कर रहा हूँ। मैं अपने समाज के हक अधिकार की लड़ाई को बेहद मजबूती से लड़ूंगा।
BJP big Republic impact. Days after conversion tape row, AAP minister resigns. Uddhav camp meets this afternoon. 3 symbols and 3 party names considered in.
We are the real claimants of bow and arrow, because we are the real Shiv Sena. That where we were hurt the most. We have not yet given our letter to the election commission, which symbol we want.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde's camp discusses legal options after the election commission order on Sena symbol issue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Modera on 3-day visit to Gujarat offers prayers at the Sun Temple.
तो उम्र का असर है और अकेले पड़ जाने की जो घबराहट है, इस वजह से कुछ बोल रहे हैं.
After Nitish denies Kishore's statement, Prashant Kishore hits back with age is catching up with Nitish jibe. All right, viewers, we are getting inside visuals of Shinde meeting, the Shinde camp meeting, which is still underway in Mumbai, and that's in connection with the election symbol issue and the deliberations essentially on what's going to be the next course of action after the election commission put an interim stay on the use of the original Shiv Sena symbol of bow and arrow, which was claimed by both the camps, so the Shinde camp and the Uddhav camp. While we have seen the Uddhav camp coming out with 3 other options, already the Shinde camp is deliberating. It maintains that the Uddhav camp was quick to send in 3 other options because they wanted this delay and they were prepared. Let's go to Alisha. She's joining us live from Mumbai. And Alisha, over to you. Pictures show us that the meeting is going on. What are the legal options and remedies the Shinde group is exploring? Just like Uddhav camp has already given 3 options to the election commission.
Well, yes, Abhishek, that's the first visuals of Eknath Shinde faction meeting, which has been underway in Varsha Bungalow, which is an official bungalow of a chief minister. Importantly, talking about the legal option, well, it has only been considered right after the decision that will be taken for the symbol and as well as for the party name as well. Because here is the Uddhav Thackeray who has already decided the symbol, which is the Trishul, Torch and Rising Sun. But the other party name that he has considered and the letter that has already been given to the Election Commission of India, which include Shiv Sena Bahasab Thackeray and the other 2 name that is related to Bahasab and his father. So here is the visuals first on Republic, where we can see that the Eknath Shinde, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, is the meeting which is underway, and the senior leaders from the Shinde faction is present in the meeting.
All right, Alisha, the battle for claiming legacy of Bala Saheb Thackeray goes on with the Shinde group now deliberating what options they can exercise after the election commission put a temporary ban on use of the bow and arrow symbol, the original symbol of the Shiv Sena, by both the camps. We'll keep you updated, viewers, on that development. Alisha there reporting from the ground. But moving on, in a shocking statement, the Aam Aadmi Party Gujarat State President Gopal Italia has insulted Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Italia called Prime Minister Neech thrice in his video, calling his visit to the state as theatrics and drama. And the BJP is not taking it lightly. Neither should we, of course, because Narendra Modi is not only NDA Prime Minister or BJP's Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister of the whole country. The question is, why is Arvind Kejriwal silent? Is he endorsing such crude remarks by his leaders in Gujarat? Let's hear what Gopal Italia said, and then we debate.
इस्तेमाल हो रहा है। आप किस्म के आदमी मुख्य वड़ा प्रधान नरेंद्र मोदी, मैं इस बात की पुष्टि नहीं करता हूँ, लेकिन आज यहाँ पे चुनाव चल रहा है। मुझे आप सब लोगों से जानना है कि क्या भूतकाल में कभी भी किसी भी वड़ा प्रधान ने ऐसा नौटंकी किया है वोट देने जाने के लिए? किस्म का आदमी यहाँ पे रोड शो कर रहा है और दिखा रहा है कि कैसे मैं पूरे देश को सी बना रहा हूँ। सी फॉर, समझ लीजिएगा, मैं कैसे इस पूरे भारत देश को सी बना रहा हूँ। मैं बात करता हूँ डिजिटल इंडिया की और खुद दिल्ली से दौड़ा दौड़ा यहाँ पे वोट देने आता हूँ। देखिए मैं आप लोगों को कैसे सी बनाता हूँ। तो ये किस्म का आदमी हमें ये संदेश दे रहा है कि मैं पूरे देश को सी बना रहा हूँ।
All right, joining me, Harish Khurana of the BJP, Karan Verma, author and political analyst, is live from Lucknow, leans towards the right. Dr. Piyush Joshi, political analyst, leans towards the Aam Aadmi Party. Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst, live from Bengaluru, takes a neutral position. But Syed Asad Abbas, what kind of language is this? Calling Prime Minister Neech. It's not even politically, benefiting. It shows the state of mind that the Aam Aadmi Party leadership in Gujarat, perhaps.
Abhishek sir, firstly, huge thank you for having me on this debate. And let me take an onus on you and the appreciation I have for you as a journalist and say, and like you said, with respect to my point of view, undoubtedly, with great power comes great position, and we must respect every office of position held, irrespective of being in politics. The fact of the matter, we need to understand here, be it the Bharatiya Janata Party, Aam Aadmi Party.
Tell this to Piyush Joshi.
We need to understand that this responsibility also leads to accountability. There needs to be a dignity. There needs to be a decorum of sorts. You cannot use any such expletives or to the office of the Prime Minister. Also, we need to understand, Abhishek Saab, neither
the Prime Minister. You have made your opening comment, Syed Asad Abbas. I have to take this to Piyush Joshi. Piyush Joshi, what kind of comments are these? Syed Asad Abbas typically would have been in your support, but even he can't stand with you for these kind of comments.
Nobody can stand with such kind of comments. This language is utterly unacceptable. It is unpardonable. I think strictest possible action should be taken against such leaders. I'm sure you'll see in another 24 hours to come that such actions will be taken. He is the Prime Minister of the country. We all are free to voice our opposition, but there has to be a dignity of language that cannot be crossed come what may. This is totally unacceptable, and not only unacceptable, it is unpardonable, unparliamentary, and strictest possible action should be taken against such leaders. This is utter nonsense. This is not a way to voice your opposition, and this is not a way to for any decent dialogue. This is totally unacceptable, unpardonable. I totally disagree.
I have to say this. I have to say this.
Nonsense.
Good that you do that in your opening comments, Piyush Joshi. I have to say this. We have taken a position. I began by saying that we also have to condemn the kind of comments that have come in from Gopal Italia. I don't know what he was doing, what he was, smoking. Harish Khurana, how is the BJP going to respond to that?
This is what the BJP condemns, strongly condemns what Gopal Italia has said. And this is not for the first time these people, including the Chief Minister of Delhi, who is the supremo of Aam Aadmi Party, has insulted the Prime Minister, not for the first time. We have seen yesterday what kind of language Arvind Kejriwal was using for the opposition. Kanski aulad, we are going to kill them. This was a language used by Arvind Kejriwal. And today we saw this, Gopal Italia calling a Prime Minister Neech, and the other unparliamentary word, what I cannot say on your television. What kind of language is this? What kind of mentality is this? This shows the mentality of the Aam Aadmi Party, that they are being frustrated. They are being, this is, I don't have words to condemn it. This is not at all, immediately why Arvind Kejriwal is silent till now. This is an incident happening in afternoon. Till now, Arvind Kejriwal has not uttered a single word on this. Why? Why is silent? Why he has
No,
not
I
shut
have to.
down
I'll go to.
Gopal Italia?
I'll have to come back. I'll have to come back to Piyush Joshi generally because he takes. Sayyid Asad Abbas, I'll come to you. Hold on. Sayyid Asad Abbas, I'll come to you because Piyush Joshi has to be grilled a little bit more. Of course, he has distanced himself from Gopal Italia, but you know what is important is Piyush Joshi that it's been about 6 hours that this statement was made. This condemnable statement was made by Aam Aadmi Party's Gujarat head, and the entire central leadership of the party is silent. We have not heard anything from Arvind Kejriwal. We have not heard anything from Manish Sisodia, or for that matter, any national spokesperson. You think they should be getting on their feet pronto and quickly doing some damage control? For God's sake, apologize.
I'm sure they must be in the same mode. They must be not only for damage control. Look, there has to be a decency of dialogue. There has to be a mutual respect. We stand in opposition because of certain differences of opinion, but that doesn't give us right to use abusive language. I will again say I'm not Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, but I cannot tolerate such kind of statements and such kind of language. It has to be condemned strongly, and I'm sure one has to get to the bottom of it. One has to look into the analysis of the tape, if the tape is genuine. And if the tape is found to be genuine, then definitely action is going to be taken.
What do you mean by tape is genuine? What do you mean by tape is genuine? It has come from the most authentic sources. And you know, again, I have to go back to Harish Khurana. Harish Khurana, your sources are being doubted here. Your national spokesperson, IT in charge, Amit Malviya, has tweeted, brought this out, outed this video. He is saying that the authenticity of the video has to be checked, verified.
And then action will be taken. See, that's what.
No. Tell me what. We all know what is the meaning of C. What kind of words they are using it?
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
And why Arvind Kejriwal silent till date? Why Arvind Kejriwal not uttered a single word? He's in Gujarat today. Why he's not spoken? Why is he not checked out till date? My question is this.
Okay, let me.
We are frustrated. We are. I mean, if you are in frustration, I agree. You are in frustration right now. But see, what about these words? Not acceptable at all. Not acceptable at all. And we are not going to accept this.
Not acceptable at all, of course, Harish Khurana. Karan Verma, it is becoming the bane of the opposition. You know, they don't have an answer to Narendra Modi from Manishankar Iyer, and if we can get the visuals of Manishankar Iyer on air, from Manishankar Iyer, these mistakes keep getting repeated. I think these are not mistakes, Karan Verma. You think this is very deep-rooted hate mixed with jealousy and envy against someone who has been successful in communicating with the masses directly and hence made the opposition irrelevant.
Look, Abhishek, I'll talk about this case first and then proceed to the larger thing. Arvind Kejriwal has been a habitual offender as far as disrespecting the Prime Minister is concerned. Let's not forget that he used words like he's a coward and a psychopath, and he tweeted this. And he was rebuked for this all across the political spectrum 5 years back when he did this. He has mellowed down now because he realized with time that it backfires politically when he does this. So what he's now started doing is he has this Jekyll and Hyde personalities. He lets loose his Lankies who abuse the Prime Minister, who play the communal card, and he himself occupies the high ground and shows as if he's here to talk about grandiose visionary plans. But the truth is that there is a tacit approval and endorsement by Arvind Kejriwal for Lankies like these who are abusing the Prime Minister. Secondly, you hit the nail on its head. It is just the contempt, the jealousy, and the fact that people are intellectually bankrupt as far as cornering the Prime Minister politically that they resort to slogans like Maut Ka Saudagar. Udit Raj made such disgusting comments that I can't even repeat them. Aam Aadmi Party, they have a litany of remarks that they make. And this is pretty much deja vu because 5 years back, around the same time during the Gujarat elections, the same kind of comment was made by Manishankar Iyer, which backfired. He also called the Prime Minister weak. So the truth is, they go low the Prime Minister goes high, and that is exactly what the trajectory is going to continue to be. And don't mistake for Arvind Kejriwal's apology. Even if one second, even if Arvind Kejriwal comes in damage control, we must know he's not a genuine person. He started this trend of Aam Aadmi Party abusing the Prime Minister.
Abhishek Saab, can I come in and quickly make my point, please? Time for me to quickly counter the point. The fact of the matter,
I come to you, but I am coming to you, but let's... No, I'll come to you. Syed Asad Abbas, I'll come to you. But, let's see what the Prime Minister has been called. He himself narrated this in an interview just before the last phase of 2019 general election. He said he has been called Bandar, he has been called Nikamma, he has been called Kutta, he has been called Nashedi, he has been called Aurangzeb se bhi Kroor, he has been called Anpad, Gawar, Namak Haram. I mean, it does not end. Is this the way you treat a person who has got the highest mandate ever in the last 35 years almost? Syed Asad Abbas.
Abhishek Saab, the reason I look forward to your shows is, your absolute moderation. You're always on point. Likewise, I'd like to answer directly to all my friends here. I'm very glad that every panelist on the show today unequivocally, unconditionally condemns whatever the AAP leader said. But also we need to look forward here. If that is wrong. Harish ji, I did not speak in between, sir. Sir, calm down, sir.
Why are you silent? We are angry.
Allow me to answer. Don't be rattled. Don't be rattled. I heard you patiently. 30 seconds. Okay. Calling all of these names to the Prime Minister is wrong. But isn't it wrong when the Prime Minister calls Sonia Gandhi Jersey cow? Isn't it misogynistic? Is it right to call Sunanda Pushkar a 50 crore ki girlfriend? Is that right? Sir, two wrongs don't make a right here. If that is wrong, Kiran Rijiju tweeting that Renuka Chaudhary's laughter in the parliament is inspired by Ravana's sister, is that wrong? Isn't that disrespect of a woman? If a Rashtrapati being called is wrong, Udit Raj is wrong, so is Kiran Rijiju and Honorable Modi ji is wrong. You cannot call a widow in a political party as a Jersey cow. That is disrespecting a woman. Let's be fair here.
Syed Asad Abbas, what kind of equivalence is this? Syed Asad Abbas, I'll let the BJP guys respond.
Can I come in now?
I will let the BJP representatives here respond. Harish Khurana, this seems like an absolute false equivalence. Prime Minister is personally being targeted.
See, what I was listening to Syed Abbas, but what do you mean by on one hand he's apologizing it, but in the immediate next word is but.
No,
what kind of this? What kind of this?
It is not my
What
mistake.
kind of this?
Sir,
see now
Okay, the debate is absolutely
now
turned. Syed Asad Abbas is not apologizing. Piyush Joshi says, hold on. Piyush Joshi says that the veracity of the video has to be tested. Syed Asad Abbas says that there is some kind of equivalence between what Kiran Rijiju says and what other BJP leaders might have said in the past. With what Gopal Atalia has said today about the Prime Minister. I think this is false equivalence on a couple of counts. Syed Asad Abbas. And I'll bring Piyush Joshi on this. Hold on. It is false equivalence on a couple of counts. The persistence with which Prime Minister is targeted. One person is targeted. There might be some episodic comments against some leaders, and par for the course they respond. But the manner and the dozen odd names Prime Minister himself recalled and I quoted just a while back clearly show the kind of persistence with which Prime Minister is targeted. Piyush Joshi, you can't but be sorry about the manner in which Gopal Italia has made those comments against Prime Minister, and there cannot be any whataboutery about that.
Has there been any Prime Minister?
Yeah, just Karanji, it was, I think it was addressed to me. Okay.
No, I just
so
that's
fine.
Has there been any Prime Minister who has targeted being like that?
Karan, Piyush Joshi, I'll come to you.
Look, Manmohan Singh ji have been targeted and so many things. Even he was being called Shikhandi. So let's not go that way.
He has never been called out names like this. He has never been called out.
He has been called Shikhandi. He has been called Shikhandi. What are you talking about? Now come on.
Never.
Let's look. No. Look. What I'm trying to say here that these comments to the Prime Minister are unacceptable to us because we expect better standards from our fellow men. We do not expect better standards from the BJP people. So let it go that way. I was in a debate on 6 p.m. show where the BJP spokesperson, I will not name him, you can go and find out, called Kejriwal Lampat, Pondrakka Avatar, Pakhandi, Dushcharitra. All this is on record on a television debate in this evening. You know, it was conducted at 6 p.m. this evening on another channel. So these all name calling has been done by official BJP spokesperson. Okay, so let's not go that way. We expect better standards from our fellow men, from our people, because the
Joshi, you are missing
population,
the argument
the public of the
The
country,
persistence with which the Prime Minister is attacked shows the kind of hate that the opposition in its entirety has cultivated against the Prime Minister. I mean, that's the question that you have to answer. The persistence with which the Prime Minister is targeted. The last time a comment was made against Sonia Gandhi was perhaps 15 years ago, which Syed Asad Abbas brought in. The last time one-off comment was made against Manmohan Singh was almost 10 years ago. Now, but the manner in which Prime Minister is targeted is day in and day out.
I'll be very glad if we conduct the same debate about what Arvind Kejriwal has been said in the past by the BJP leaders. Okay, and it is all on record what AK has been said. He has been called an anarchist, AK Chappan, AK 47 and whatnot. He has been called an urban Naxal. What all he has been called. Okay, and so the debate, the real debate should be on the issues facing of Gujarat.
No. This is again false equivalence. This is again false equivalence, Dr. Piyush Joshi. You know, you are comparing political comments, political adjectives with outright below the belt abuse. That you can't indulge in this whataboutery, Piyush Joshi. Either you are supporting or you are not supporting Gopal Italia.
Of course, I'm not supporting Gopal Italia. I started by saying we condemn it. We definitely do not support. But that doesn't mean that we will support our leader being called Lampat and Pakhandi. This is also unacceptable. Let's conduct a debate over that as well. You cannot keep on calling the constitutional authority the chief minister of a state in such a manner, a national president, a national convener of a political party, because you don't like him, because you don't get him, because you can't understand him. That's why you cannot keep on calling him names. So that has to be criticized as well. Let us conduct a debate on what AK has been called in the past as well. And I unequivocally condemned, I strongly condemned what Mr. Gopal Italia has said, and I think he should apologize. And he should apologize after, conducting a press conference, and publicly he should apologize. That kind of language is unacceptable. But similarly, the language that in which Mr. AK has been addressed should be condemned as well.
Well, we have to go further. This is not just about Narendra Modi. This is about the Prime Minister of the country.
Yes,
But
yes.
there are others in your party.
Abhishek, that's what I'm saying.
No. See, there's a two parts to the comment. One, he has targeted the Prime Minister. I'm coming to you. Harish Khurana, I'm coming to you. One, he has targeted Gopal Italia, the Aam Aadmi Party in charge of Gujarat. One, he has targeted the Prime Minister. Second, he has abused the Hindus. He has said that, I fail to understand why and how someone who has that kind of position in a political party would use this kind of language. He has called those Hindus who go to the Kathas are Hijras. I mean, Harish Khurana, let's go beyond politics. Is this really even becoming of public life?
See, the level of politics has gone down drastically since last few years when Arvind Kejriwal came into power,
And you have to also respond to the charges made against the BJP by Piyush Joshi.
See, this is not for the first time Narendra Modi has been targeted. This is not for the first time. Calling him a psychopath, and I have unconfirmed videos have been come out that Arvind Kejriwal has called Prime Minister terrorist also. I have that video also with me, that I can't play that also. But calling a Prime Minister this kind of language is not acceptable in the politics at all. You cannot say we condemned it, but those people have also used it. You can't defend it. It's not defendable at all. So my point is, immediately Arvind Kejriwal should sack Gopal Italia immediately and feel sorry towards the Prime Minister of India. That's the only way out, and a damage control exercise what he can do right now. But because, and this shows the frustration also. On second hand, this shows the frustration also.
Harish Khurana also, the second part of the debate, it riles, it really hits you hard. The C word that he has used, and more than a couple of times in that video, it really shows the kind of disrespect I'll go to Syed Asad Abbas on that. Kind of disrespect he has for women. I mean, the kind of filthy language that has been used, Syed Asad Abbas. I mean, Piyush Joshi it's unfortunate that Piyush Joshi is indulging the kind of whataboutery and trying to draw false equivalences, Syed Asad Abbas. You just can't make that mistake at this moment.
Absolutely, Abhishek Sahab. The fact of the matter is, any comment which is misogynistic, any comment which brings out this kind of disrespect women must be condemned unconditionally, unequivocally, without any ifs and buts. Be it a leader of the Aam Aadmi Party, or even for a matter of fact, when the BJP leaders called the late Sunanda Pushkar, the wife of Shashi Tharoor, 50 crore ki girlfriend, that was misogynistic. Not just that, even calling her Jersey cow, Hiranyakai, Ravana's sister, all of these to Renuka Chaudhary. Also, as a matter of fact, Harish ji needs to tell me.
Again, Syed Asad Abbas, not expected from you at this moment when the Prime Minister of the country has been insulted. You know, this is not fair. It began with Priyanka Vadra commenting on the caste of the Prime Minister. Mani Shankar Iyer took it to the next level, and today with Gopal Italia's comments. So we have really hit an abyss. Whatever be the political affiliations, ladies and gentlemen, there's no justification for insulting the highest democratic office of the country. And even though Arvind Kejriwal is silent on the persistent insults heaped on the Prime Minister by his party leaders, the country will not stay quiet. And we are back after a short break on an issue of diplomacy. This even as we'll track the developments on the Gopal Italia story all through the day tomorrow. India's hit back on Germany for raking up Kashmir and what it means. Be right back.
Burning question.
A 22-year-old woman was hacked to death in broad daylight by a 26-year-old person at Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. The incident reportedly came about over a refusal by the woman to marry the 26-year-old.
Last year, we were all geared up. This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
A row has erupted over the change in name of Tipu Express to the Wadiyar Express, with the change in name re-sparking the debate around the former Mysuru ruler's legacy.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
News from across the country. Prime Minister Modi is on a visit to Gujarat from starting today till the 11th of October, where his visit to Modhera today will mark the village as the first solar village of the country.
The world supermarket. World.
Burning question.
Welcome back, friends. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock has waded into choppy waters on Kashmir by claiming that both Germany and the United Nations had some role on the Indian territory. She made this comment with Pakistani Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari by her side on Friday. India has strongly condemned the comment, with the MEA holding a mirror to Germany on terror. Let's understand the motivations and imperatives after this short report.
India took a strong note of comments by foreign ministers of Germany and Pakistan on Jammu and Kashmir and said all conscientious members of the global community have a responsibility to call out international terrorism, especially of a cross-border nature.
Yes, Germany also has a role and responsibility with regard to the situation of Kashmir. Therefore, we support intensively the engagement of the United Nations to find peaceful solutions in the regions.
Without directly naming Pakistan, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said Jammu and Kashmir has borne the brunt of a terrorist campaign for decades and it continues till now. The MEA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi stated, and I quote, "All serious and conscientious members of the global community have a role and responsibility to call out international terrorism, especially of a cross-border nature. The Indian campaign for the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir has borne the brunt of such a terrorist campaign for decades. This continues till now. Foreign nationals have been victims there, as also in other parts of India. The UNSC and FATF are still pursuing Pakistan-based terrorists involved in the horrific 26/11 attacks." The sharp response from India comes after Minister for Foreign Affairs of Germany, Annalena Baerbock, with her Pakistani counterpart Bilawal Bhutto Zardari in Berlin, jointly addressed a press conference and mentioned Kashmir. At the press conference in Berlin on Friday, Pakistan Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said peace inside South Asia would not be possible without the peaceful resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UN resolutions and taking into consideration the aspirations of the Kashmiri people. India has been strongly maintaining that Kashmir is a bilateral issue between New Delhi and Islamabad. India has long argued that Kashmir issue, Pakistan's illegal occupation of Indian territory, would be resolved bilaterally and that Islamabad agreed to this condition when it signed the Shimla Agreement in 1972. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, let's try to understand what's happening between the West and India. Joining me, a galaxy of guests this Sunday evening, Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst live from Chennai. He questions the foreign policy of the government. Majid Hydari, journalist and political analyst live from Srinagar, tries to present the Kashmiri view. Major K.K. Sinha, defense expert live from Delhi. He brings in the defense expertise, of course. And then, let me begin by asking Professor Madhav Nalapat, who's strategic analyst and Vice Chairman, Manipal Advanced Research Group. Live from Manipal, of course, a noted name in strategic affairs. Professor Nalapat, it seems that the inexperience of the young German Foreign Affairs Minister really showed up. She essentially parroted whatever Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, himself not very experienced about the ways of the world, told her in private. I'm saying this because, just to quote her, she's saying, there are tensions as Mr. Bhutto has described. So we encourage Pakistan and we encourage India to follow the track of the ceasefire, to follow the track of the United Nations and to intensify the political dialogue and also the political and practical cooperation in the region. Now, there is already a ceasefire. There is no dialogue happening which has to be intensified. There is no role left for whatsoever for the United Nations for a long time. And in fact, since 1947. And then she says, whatever Mr. Bhutto said, I'm saying this. You think that this was absolute inexperience or the Germans were playing to a plan?
Well, I'm glad the Republic is highlighting this. And may I say that very unfortunately, and I'm saying this as someone who has for years and years argued for a very strong alliance between the European Union, North America and India, where it comes to, apart from other countries, where it comes to confronting China, I'd like to say that, unfortunately, she seems to be following an Atlanticist script. The United States takes 800 days to get a visa for Indians, about less than a month to give a visa to Pakistanis, and less than 3 days to give a visa to Chinese. The British Home Secretary, no less, who is of Indian origin, by the way, Suella Braverman, she has said that, we cannot make, visa procedures simplified for Indians because Indians always overstay. For heaven's sake, British Indians are the model community in the United States. She comes from that community and she obviously is one of those India-hating Indians. You have India-hating Indians. So unfortunately, what this lady has said, and I'd like to say, with a leader like this, it's no surprise that the Green Party is losing ground steadily in Germany. The German people are getting fed up of the war and the privations of this war, something that on Republic I had warned against right at the beginning of this conflict. Well, she is echoing the same script of all the NATO members. This is a NATO script. India, you will be punished. Not India, not the government of India, the people of India. You will be punished for your absolute effrontery in going against our guidance, our diktat. I mean, it's as though there is no change since the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, the period of Western colonialism. We are expected to blindly follow them. And if you don't, well, you saw the United States visa policy. You have seen, for example, F-16s being delivered to Pakistan in a message to India. You are seeing Suella Braverman attack Indians and Indian visitors to the UK. And now you're seeing this lady. Frankly, I don't think the poor thing has ever seen a map of the world. So I'm not really going to be very harsh on her.
Absolutely.
But she's following the same script.
In fact, she used to be a gymnast in a team.
And the Pakistan is supporting the Taliban. It's Pakistan that's keeping Taliban alive. And this poor lady doesn't understand it.
I mean, does she remember, Professor Nalapa, does she even remember that there were German citizens who lost their lives in the 9/11 terror attack, and we know the Pakistani connections of that terror attack. Sumant Raman, there is a war going on in Europe. Germany is absolutely helpless in its own backyard. It can't do anything to save its own supply lines so far as energy goes. They are looking at a very, very harsh, difficult winter. And for the foreign minister of Germany to be pontificating on Kashmir, it's comic. Sumant Raman, you can't just fault India's foreign policy for this bad situation that the Germans find themselves in.
Abhishek, first of all, there are two issues here. One is, I don't think we really need to take Annalena Baerbock seriously because she's considered a bit of a joke in Germany itself. She's been accused of falsifying financial statements. She's been accused of plagiarism. She's been accused of intemperate speeches. I mean, there's hardly anything she has not been accused of so far. So I don't think even the Germans take her statement seriously. So I think that part, and as Mr. Nalapat said, I agree. I mean, she would be hard pressed to even identify the locations on a map that she is referring to. Now, the point we need to understand is why are so many countries emboldened to make the kind of statements that they are making? Suella Braverman, I mean, she's hardly been in office a couple of weeks now. And look at the kind of statements that she's making. Why is our foreign policy not adequate enough to at least cover these kind of deficiencies or obvious, weaknesses which are coming out in public domain? So clearly, the British government has not issued any kind of a rejoinder to Suella Braverman. Our High Commissioner has come up with a statement, and they've also refuted the claims. Even the facts are incorrect. The same statement that the Indians are the largest group who overstay is also incorrect. But even that, why are these people making that? If our foreign policy mandarins are on the ball, such statements are not to be expected. We have problems now with China. That is, of course, a very well-known issue. We have a long-standing problem, obviously, with Pakistan. We do not know what the policy on relations with Pakistan is concerned. Suddenly, Pakistan says a few weeks ago that trade ties will restart. Then there is silence. Look, there is a lot of confusion in terms of what our policies are vis-a-vis many of these countries. If somebody can clarify what those policies are, it'll definitely be helpful. But I do not lay any credence to what this German foreign minister said. She is a joke, and I think that she can be ignored. But that does not take away from the fact.
No, good that you say
we
that.
seem to
Good
be
that you say
having
that. But
a
you're connecting it with Indian foreign policy is a little misplaced, Sumant Raman. You know, let me just elaborate on a comment that Professor Madhav Nalapat made. You know, he mentioned there seems to be some Atlanticist spirit to this comment that has been made by the German foreign minister. Now, there is a reason why Professor Nalapat would have said that, and we can see that. Just a couple of days before Annalena Baerbock made that comment with Pakistani foreign minister on her side, United States ambassador to Islamabad, he visited Pak-occupied Kashmir and made a comment wherein he called Pak-occupied Kashmir Azad Jammu and Kashmir. This is the first time in the history of Pakistan-US relationship that POK has been called Azad Kashmir.
There is a
it is
tweet
clear.
that the man has
It is
put
clear.
out.
General Sinha, it is clear that the West is coming together, and that's where I think India's foreign policy comes in, and I will give a different picture than what Sumant Raman is suggesting. General Sinha, I'll come to Sumant Raman. I'll come to you, Sumant Raman. Let me involve General Sinha and Majid Hydari as well. But first, General Sinha. General Sinha, there is definitely an Atlanticist spirit to this panning out of comments which try to corner India on Pakistan. It's almost a hark back to 20th century when they could, use Pakistan as a stick to beat India when it came to independence in foreign policy.
Good evening, Abhishek. See, let me bring it out. I will with a rebuttal. Someone just said that India's foreign policy, a question mark. India's foreign policy today is the assertive best. The best of thing what we are looking at today. What is happening? You brought it out. As far as the Annalena is concerned, let me put the things straight. Prime Minister Modi visited Germany in the month of May, and she has come in the month of June to Pakistan. She made the similar, argument there. It was that time also the foreign ministry gave this type of rebuttal to her. But she has repeated again second time. This is the second time repetitions. Her compulsions are known. Her compulsions are known. No one is listening to her as far as Germany is concerned. India's German relation in the Angela Merkel's period, 2005 to 2021, is the best. It has been the best. What is happening now? What is happening? Pakistan is supplying arms, ammunition, weapons, to Ukraine, and India is, having the assertive best, trying to have them maintaining and doing what is right for us. Now everyone is, trying to bully India. When the professor he was bringing it out, they are trying to bully in this way, but we can't ignore this. Let me put it across to them. It is Americans is trying now. Americans is trying at the back door when they say that they will pull their, they pull their support. If the Chinese come, we don't care.
Sir.
Today, India is writing the things in the world, in the world order. India is putting his assertive and trying to bring, the world peace in a way which everyone will follow in the days to come. When you talk about democratic and strategic pause, let me finish. 1 second, I will take more. We should not ignore this. We should come in a very strong, and we should not talk about. We know this is a bilateral issue as per the Indian, and talk and terror can't go together. This is our stand, will remain. We may debate till the cow comes home, but our stand is going to be, and the
Majid Hydari, you made your point, sir.
Yeah.
You made your point, sir. Majid Hydari, you were, shaking your head left and right, not agreeing, I believe, with all the panelists. But Majid Hydari, yesterday what happened in Pak-occupied Kashmir? A sitting minister there and 2 foreign nationals, they were abducted by Taliban based out of Pakistan, the TTP, and they were kept hostage for a few days, and they were released only after their demands were met, including release of some known Taliban terrorists. This is the situation in Pak-occupied Kashmir. thousands of Kashmiris have died. You know, does the German foreign minister understand the pain of Kashmiris to be asking for this kind of international mediation in something which is absolutely integral and internal to India?
Well, Abhishek, two things we need to introspect here. The foreign policy of Indian state over the years, last 7 decades, has been that Kashmir is an internal issue and no foreign intervention or interference will be allowed on it. But for the last 7-8 years now,
that red line has been made permanent now. Majid Hajri, that's non-negotiable.
No, I'm coming to that only. See, we have a government in place which invited European Union delegation to come and poke nose into Kashmir and have a feel of what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir. And then very recently, this very government took the Kashmir human rights issue to UNHRC, internationalizing Kashmir. Now, I have a simple point. General Sinha said talks and terror cannot go together, but two cricket
it just can't go together. This is our stand, and this is our strategy. You must understand this.
Over the flood situation, we can have distribution of sweets on the Wagah border. I mean, we need to have a foreign policy. Sorry to say, for the last 7 years, we don't have any foreign policy.
You know the foreign policy which you are talking about, the whole world is going to have the same foreign policy after some time. Let this pass.
We are being beaten from all sides. It is all because of failed foreign policy of BJP. It's ambiguity.
My dear friend, you say that you are a journalist if you don't understand what is the Simla Agreement of 1972. It talks about that it will not be recognized by the role of UN. It is not the India has said. It is the Pakistan Bhutto and his grandfather of Bilawal Bhutto who has brought it here. We released 93,000 prisoners. We released 93,000 prisoners for this. You know this?
Okay.
Do not know, go and
okay, General Sinha. You know, I have 3 more minutes on the debate. I have to take General Sinha. I have to get 2 quick interventions from Sumant Raman and Professor Nalapat again. You know, Sumant Raman, you were mentioning about foreign policy and India not calibrating it well. Now, just to randomly give you some incidents over the last 1 week. In fact, one yesterday only and a day after this Kashmir comment of the German foreign minister, Pakistani Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa, he made a speech. He's not in Pakistan. He made a speech somewhere outside. He's in the United States, I believe. And he did not mention the Kashmir word. You know, even the Pakistan Army has dropped it like a hot potato. They can't handle it anymore. Also, we had a very heated exchange between the Saudis and the Americans post the decision of OPEC to cut down on petroleum production. This was just 3 days back. You know, we have seen the sabotage of Nord Stream gas pipeline. The Germans could do nothing about it. And some American commentators, independent American commentators said it's possible the Americans could have done it because they somehow want to keep the Europeans together, and Europeans are scared because they are facing at a harsh winter, and without Russian gas it would be difficult for them to survive as they have known life. Also, Sumant Raman, you know, Germany perhaps was reciprocating to some help Pakistan might have given in evacuating German citizens from Afghanistan last year. Where does Indian foreign policy come in the picture? Except for that the Germans are hectoring that because we are helpless, please save us from the Russians.
1 minute. The Indian foreign policy comes in because the United States has now restarted supplying spare parts for F-16 aircraft, which has not happened in the last few years, and now it has been restarted. The United States, the Pakistan relationship has again reached a stage almost similar to where it was earlier before the US debacle in Afghanistan, where General Bajwa, by the way, where what he said is not really as relevant as what is the action that happens on the ground. And the United States, clearly by their High Commissioner visiting Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and calling it AJK publicly in a tweet, that itself tells you where they are. By the way, do you know that the United States is
Professor Nalapat, my last 1 minute to you.
Pakistan to
Sumant Raman, there I think he made a valid point. But this is not Sumant Raman, you know, this is not because what India is doing. If India is being punished for having an autonomous, sovereign, independent foreign policy guided by its own self-interest, Are you suggesting, for example, that we shouldn't be buying oil at the cheap from Russians when it's available, and that when we can really take care of our current account deficit, that we can take care of our import bill? You know, Professor Nalapat, if it is true that the West is repivoting to Pakistan because of the manner in which we have conducted ourselves, the Modi government and Dr. S. Jaishankar have conducted themselves independently. What are the foreign policy options with India? Quickly, sir.
Look, we have a good foreign policy, but we do make mistakes. And I think, for example, abstaining on some of the votes that we recently saw was a mistake, in my personal view. On Xinjiang, I think we should not have abstained. They definitely. Right. But that's a different matter. The point is, unfortunately, for the Atlanticists, Prime Minister Modi has been right from the very beginning about Ukraine. He said, please stop this war. In other words, please freeze the status quo.
Yes.
And he's saying that even now. And that is the only way out. And
I'm very sorry, Professor Nalapan. I'm running out of time. You have made your point. Absolutely. That's where I would want to end this. Prime Minister made a very valid point that this is not the era of wars. He has said it looking in the eyes of President Putin, sitting straight in front of him, something which the Germans have not done, something which the Americans have not done. It is clear Germans are jittery. Putin's Ukraine war has tested many European powers and Germany the most. It is helpless in its own backyard, is facing a bleak winter with literally no gas, and finds itself increasingly removed to margins despite economic heft. Consequent fraying of nerves might have led to a please-all posturing by an inexperienced Annalena Baerbock on Kashmir, at considerable risk to India-Germany relationship. Sooner an amend is made by the Scholz government, the better. Kashmir is Indian territory. Thanks for watching, friends. Arnav is back Monday evening.
Burning question.
Steady amid recession. Steady amid inflation. Goal is global dominance. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
News from across the country. Prime Minister Modi is on a visit to Gujarat from starting today till the 11th of October, where his visit to Modera today will mark the village as the first solar village of the country.
The world supermarket. The world is ours for the taking. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
The Eknath Shinde and Uddhav Thackeray factions have accordingly called for emergency meet in order for the parties to choose the new symbols for the upcoming Shiv Sena bypolls.
No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
Commenting on the ECI decision of barring the use of the symbol, BJP leader Kirit Somaia has stated that the Uddhav faction had lost everything in connection with the political party, including the faith of the people.
Tragic accident that had taken place in Nashik, that at least 11 passengers as of now have lost their lives. Fire that has been reported on 12th floor of ground plus 12th floor residential building in Chembur.
The Air Force is celebrating the 90th IFJ.
A 22-year-old woman was hacked to death in broad daylight by a 26-year-old person at Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. The incident
Burning question.
इस्तेमाल हो रहा है, आप नीच किस्म के आदमी मुख्य वड़ा प्रधान नरेंद्र मोदी, मैं इस बात की पुष्टि नहीं करता हूं, लेकिन आज यहाँ पे चुनाव चल रहा है। मुझे आप सब लोगों से जानना है कि क्या भूतकाल में कभी भी किसी भी वड़ा प्रधान ने ऐसा नौटंकी किया है? वोट
Burning question.
The Eknath Shinde and Uddhav Thackeray factions have accordingly called for emergency meet in order for the parties to choose the new symbols for the upcoming Shiv Sena bypolls.
No longer on the fence anymore. A new India is empowering a paradigm shift. The mission now is global dominance. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.
Commenting on the ECI decision of barring the use of the symbol, BJP leader Kirit Somaiya has stated that the Uddhav faction had lost everything in connection with the political party, including the faith of the people.
Tragic accident that had taken place in Nashik, that at least 11 passengers as of now have lost their lives. Fire that has been reported on 12th floor of ground plus 12th floor residential building in Chembur.
The Air Force is celebrating the 90th IFJ.
A 22-year-old woman was hacked to death in broad daylight by a 26-year-old person at Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. The incident reportedly came about over a refusal by the woman to marry the 26-year-old.
Last year, we were all geared up.
This network is proof that everything in India is greenfield. Is it time for the Republic Network to do a spectacular intervention in global digital news media or not? It's my passion project. So that is our consecration to making India a superpower.
Now India has a clear goal, Mission Superpower. Witness the India growth story. Republic Media Network brings you India's biggest economic summit.